Hello and welcome to Diaspora Digital Media, the program The Economy, where we look at issues that concerns what goes into your pocket, what the government does, from local, global, and generally anything that has to do with money. My name is Ron Palm Jr. I have my colleague joining us from the UK, Matthew Okoye. Matthew Okoye, you're welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you. Our guest for this very edition of The Economy is Barrister Emmanuel Ogebe. Barrister, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Today we are looking at policy and the economy, or rather, policies of the current administration in Nigeria versus the actual thing that is going on the economy. So before we do that, Barrister Emmanuel Ogebe, can we know you more?
Well, I'm a Washington based international human rights lawyer. I also do international business development. This has been what I've been doing, for the last, I want to say, 20 or so odd years. And I'm delighted to be able to join you on the program today to discuss issues of relevance to us in diaspora and to the Nigerian economy.
Thank you, and you're most welcome. Now, how would you assess the policies generally of the current Nigerian president and his cabinet for the past 7 months there or so that they have been in office? Your
Well,
perspective.
yes, I have to say that I am terrified by the policies that are being put in place by this administration. And I was terrified before we even learned that the Nigerian capital market lost 1 trillion this year. And
Hmm.
the reason for my concern is if you set out to destroy an economy, then this administration is on the right path and they are achieving it uh, on a massive scale. Now, here is something that just happened yesterday. This is actually breaking news. I received an email notification from an international money transfer agency, such as the likes of Money, Western Union, MoneyGram, and so on and so forth. One of them contacted me yesterday and said that based on the new regulations of the Nigerian government, they are suspending delivery of dollars into the Nigerian economy. Now, you need to understand how horrific this policy is. The NMPC has not been able to provide petrodollars for the running of the government for over a year. And so that has helped to create a massive shortfall in supply of dollars to run the economy. So
Hmm.
at a time when NNPC cannot provide dollars, the diaspora dollar remittance is one sure stream of forex into the economy. And based on what I received yesterday, the Nigerian government has stopped the money transfer organizations from sending dollars into the economy. And that is why dollar will continue to rise against the Naira in Nigeria. It's already almost in the 1,500 Naira to the dollar range. But let me even explain why that policy is a twofold weapon of mass destruction, so to say, of the economy.
Hmm.
When we can't send dollars into the country, what happens is that the recipient in the country will receive Naira equivalent. So, how is this facilitated? This is basically where money laundering comes in. And so, what has happened is that this administration has shut the door on legitimate transfers of money and opened the door on illegitimate transfers of money. So, what will happen is people who are trying to launder Naira out of Nigeria illicitly abroad are the ones who will benefit from this policy. So when I'm trying to transfer money to Nigeria and Nigeria says, no, we don't want dollars in Nigeria, You end up giving it to somebody here, and somebody in Nigeria pays the Naira equivalent. This is how they are looting the economy
Hmm.
of dollars in a manner that cannot be tracked. So that one policy alone is horrendous. Not only does it devalue the Naira, but it is allowing looters to remove money from the system.
That is interestingly horrific, in fact. So, how can you relate this to the stopping of the Treasury single account, the TSA? Some people think, well, it's a good thing, and others are of the opinion that, well, it's not going to go well. What's your position on that, sir?
Well, so again, that's a very unfortunate development. The TSA was created because we had an abusive system where government officials were depositing government funds in private accounts, in private banks, and getting kickbacks. So literally, if you are, your Ministry of Agriculture, you're a permanent secretary, you go and deposit your ministry's money, maybe 5 billion, in a bank, and the bank will give you an upfront settlement of 20 million. So it was very abusive what was happening. And so the Jonathan administration introduced the TSA account so that all government monies will be deposited in government coffers. Now, this process continued from the Jonathan administration into the Buhari administration, only for this Tinubu administration to come in now and basically annul what was created as a clearinghouse and safe house for Nigerian
Hmm.
government monies. So it has opened up the floodgates again for similar abuses to occur in the banking sector with public funds.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes I really wonder, how did we actually get here
Hmm.
as a country? How did we arrive at this stage where we are now sort of, you know, scratching our heads, how to get out of this quagmire, economic quagmire? We have seen, protest in Mina. We have seen protest in Kano. We've seen protest all over the country. And I'm wondering, how did we get here? Can you please give us a little sort of background? How you think we may have, you know, gotten here where we are now?
Well, let me start by saying I was very shocked to read that the acting CBN governor blamed the diaspora for the devaluation of the naira. As of December of last year, that's we're talking about barely 6 weeks ago. As
Hmm.
of December, the naira had devalued against the dollar by 49%. That means that if you had 10,000 naira in your account at the beginning of last year, by December, that money was now valued at 5,000 naira, 5,100 naira. You didn't spend it. You kept it in your account and it devalued by half. So any money you put in your account is just sitting there and devaluing, it's falling in value. So I was shocked when the CBN governor blamed the diaspora. The actual origin of the devaluation of the naira is actually traceable to the election that happened in Nigeria. And we're talking about the primaries. During the primaries of the political parties, they mocked up the dollars in circulation to buy delegates. And the purchase of delegates was done in dollars. So at that time, the naira actually devaluated to the point of hitting 700 naira to the dollar. So the expectation was that after the party conventions were over and the nominations were over, that it will come down. Do you know that from that point till now, the naira has never recovered? So the remote cause of the devaluation of the Naira was the politicians who bought delegates with dollars. So to come around and now blame the diaspora is highly deceitful and disingenuous. So that was what happened way back then in 2022. And the Naira has never recovered from that. Now, coming now to the point where we are, these people came into power, and one of the things that they did, which was very strange, was the administration of Buhari had introduced an incentive scheme to attract dollars into the economy. Now, let me give you the brief background of this remittance economy that we have. In 2022, Nigerians in diaspora transmitted $22 billion into Nigeria. $22 billion. That is more money than NMPC generated. Okay? So diaspora alone pumped in $22 billion into the economy. Now, what was the origin of this diaspora remittance economy? It happened under General Abacha. General Abacha was under economic sanctions. And so they were trying to find a way to generate forex. And so his Minister of Finance at the time, Anthony Ani, said that they should do or promote diaspora remittance. So before that time, the only way people in diaspora sent money was if somebody was traveling home, you go and meet them and beg them, please take this money and give to my people at home. They created laws and an enabling environment that allowed Western Union and all of these people to be able to send money. And they insisted that the money must be received at the end point in Naira. Do you know that within 1 year of introducing that policy, diaspora sent in $4.5 billion into the economy? Now, let me even shock you further. After Abacha saw the response of the diaspora, he just lost it. And within a short time, he looted over $5 billion from the economy. Here is the issue. If Abacha had not introduced diaspora remittance and we had not flooded in the money, the country with dollars, that theft alone of 5 billion would have crashed the Nigerian economy. So fortunately for him, because we were sending in cash, it was helping to prevent the patient from dying. It's like a blood transfusion. We were pouring in dollars and they were stealing dollars, pouring in and stealing. That's what has kept Nigeria in balance. If not, if it was only hemorrhaging dollars, the economy would have crashed. So that was the background. So what now happened is that during the Buhari administration, they wanted to see if diaspora could bring in more dollars. So they created an incentive scheme whereby if you send in $1 from diaspora, the central bank will give you 5 naira per dollar. And that policy was great. It was so wonderful that Nigerians in diaspora began to send more money. That's why we hit $22 billion in 2022. What happened? As soon as Tinubu came into office, within his first month in office, he suspended the 5 naira incentive for dollar remittance. So you now have a situation where this action actually discourages diaspora from sending money because that incentive is no longer there. So we began to wonder, I said, what is the meaning of this? So I even wrote a letter and I said, why is the government creating a policy that is not helping the value of the Naira? And we didn't get any responses. So fortunately, that acting central bank governor was removed. And we had hoped that new administrations will come in and do better. But to our shock, like I told you, yesterday, the international money transfer organizations are telling us that the Nigerian government has directed them not to send dollars into the economy. And that policy can only be because you want to facilitate money laundering. And I will add this, before I take your next question, which is that this action is harmful to the diaspora because now we cannot even get full value for our money. And it is also harmful for the Nigerian economy. I could not think of a worse policy that they could take to hurt the interest of the diaspora and to hurt the interest of Nigerians at home.